Shalom, welcome back. We are continuing reading through our Listen and Learn Hebrew with directed immersion and visual cues in the book of Exodus, chapter 30, verse 24. Let's scan it. Mizbach Adama Ta'aseli, or Mizbach Adama Ta'aseli, Vezavachta Alive Et U'lotecha ואת שלמך, את צונך, את בקרך, בכל המקום אשר אזכיר את שמי, אבוא אליך וברכתיך. Long verse, isn't it? Long verse. All right, so, and I actually didn't read my construct correctly. By the way, I'm open to suggestions if you guys don't like how I'm notifying you of the construct now. We're just doing a little telegram, dee. So, unless I think of something better, or unless you think of something better. So the very first word is actually a construct. I did forget to do that in these. I'm not going to make the sound when there's a suffix on a word, like shalamecha, right? Like your shalamim offerings, because the suffix, the word has to be in the construct to put the suffix, you see. So there's not a real point for reminding you about that, I think. It's just more information, and we're going for less information as long as you can get the same understanding. All right, so the first word is da-da-da mizbach. So usually this word is, in the absolute state, the normal state, mizbeach. But you'll hear it's changed. Mizbeach means altar. Mizbach, same word, but in the construct, mizbach, altar of. Okay, so altar of Adama. Adama. And if you don't know what this word is, just think of Adam. He's called Adam because he's made from Adama, right? One of the several proofs that God was actually speaking Hebrew. So Mizbach Adama, Deredet Mizbach Adama is an altar of earth, like of ground, right? To say li, to that you shall say, ayin saying, hey, you shall make li for me. Vezavach to zavach, well, that's related to mizbeach. Mizbeach is an altar, and you zavach on it, you sacrifice on it. So zavach to, sacrificed you, but there's a vav conversive, and you shall sacrifice alive upon it. Et is the definite direct object marker. U'alotecha. So the word u'alot is whole burnt offerings. The root of the word is ha'ale, or Allah, to go up, right? To go up. They're called whole burnt offerings because they ascend all the way to heaven. The priest doesn't eat any of it, right? Nobody eats any of it. It gets totally burnt up, incinerated. So, v'zavachto, and shall sacrifice you alive upon it, et la'alotecha, the whole burnt offerings of cha, of you, ve'et, and shelamecha. So this is another segelit. The singular word is shelem, shin lamed mem, and if it makes you think of shalom, well, they are related, but they're different words. They are both derived from the verb shalom, shin lamed mem, which is to be complete or to be whole, right? So shalom is a state of wholeness, completeness, hence peace, right? You're not like bothered, you're not needing revenge, you're not needing to shilem or get shulam or shulama from anybody, right? Vengeance, or you're not needing to shilem, to take revenge. So shelem he's oftentimes translated in the older translations as a peace offering, but I think that's just because of its proximity to the word shalom. A better translation is a goodwill offering, or perhaps even a community offering, something like that. a goodwill offering. This is the offering that you make when everything is going great in your life, everything is going fine, and you just want some general goodwill. Maybe you want a reason to bring your neighbor down and let him eat some yummy meat, right? Which wasn't so often eaten back in the day, and it was expensive. If you're going to eat an animal, it's no longer making milk for you, right? It's no longer making fur, wool, or whatever. So maybe you want to celebrate something. You invite your neighbor down, maybe family member. You go down and pick your favorite Levi. He comes with you, perhaps, and then the priest is going to eat with you as well, the Kohen, and everybody partakes of the Shalom offering. So the plural, since it's a seglet, just like Melech is king, right? Or Bosham or Besim was that kind of the balsam tree. And the plural, Besamim, the plural of Melech is Melachim, the plural of Shalom is Shalamim. Then we drop the mem to make it a construct. Shalameh, so goodwill offerings of Cha, of you. Okay? So your goodwill offerings. So Mizbach Adamah, an altar of earth, to li, you shall make for me. Vezavachta, and shall sacrifice you alive upon it. Et olotecha, your whole burnt offerings. Ve'et, and shelamecha, the goodwill offerings, or if you must, the peace offerings of cha, of you. Et tzonecha, your flock, or your sheep. Ve'et, and bekarecha, and your cattle. Bechol hamakom. Be is in or at. Chol, every, or each. Hamakom. Oh, I should have said, oops, sorry, hold on, go back. I should have said, be, da da da, at every of hamakom, the place, or each of the place. Asher, aleph shin resh, which or where. Azkir, azkir. So with this verb, the root is zachar, Zion, kaf, resh, which is to remember. But it's a hefil form. There's a yod jammed in before the third root letter, and also we have an ah underneath the ah. So zachar is to remember. Azkir is I will cause to remember. Interesting. Literally, I will cause to remember. I will make remembered. What will be made remembered? Et Shemi. That's the shame of E, my name. Avo. I will come. Elecha. Unto you. Uverach. Cha. And verachti. I will bless. Cha. You. Okay, that was kind of a long verse, wasn't it? You guys doing okay? All right. Maybe we'll come back to that when we're done with 25. I don't feel like doing that one again just now. Verse 25. Let's just scan it. Ve'im diririt mizbach avanim to aseli lo tivne ethan gazit ki charbecha henafta aleha vatecha, pardon me, vate chaleleha. All right. Ve'im literally means and if mizbach avanim, a mizbeach, an altar of avanim, aleph beit nun, is another seglet. Well, lots of seglets today. I'm so glad I spelled out some stuff about it before. Ruach HaKodesh. So, just like Melech, just like Sefer, just like Besem, and even Bosham technically, so too Evan, aleph beit nun, Evan. Evan is a stone. And so the plural of Melech, of king, is malachim. Well, actually, melachim is a vocal schwa. The plural of Evan is avanim. And for you morphology junkies, the reason we have the chat of patach, the composite schwa underneath the aleph, is because you cannot place a vocal schwa underneath a guttural. You cannot place a vocal schwa underneath a guttural. You cannot place a vocal schwa underneath a guttural. You cannot place the vocal schwa underneath a guttural. No vocal schwa under the guttural. Sorry. So what happens instead? The vocal schwa just looks the guy that looks like a colon. It lengthens to a composite schwa. So that's what's happening here because the aleph is a guttural. So you can't go underneath the guttural. It's just they're too hard to pronounce, right? So instead it lengthened to ah. Okay. So just like melech became melachim with a vocal schwa, here we get a composite schwa. Avanim, stones. Neat story about Evan. In post-biblical Hebrew, when the war was going on in Israel to try to kick out our evil Roman taskmasters, the Romans had, catapults and some pretty heavy-duty weapons, right? So when they would use their catapults to send a giant rock towards the Israeli forces who were fighting for independence back then, there wouldn't always be time to shout out, Evan Ba, right? Or Evan Ba'a, actually, because Evan's feminine. So it should be Evan Ba'a, a stone is coming, right? So Evan, 2 syllables, Ba'a, Beit, Aleph, hey, because Evan, even though it doesn't look like it, sorry guys, it's feminine. So not Evan Ba, but Evan Ba'a, 4 syllables. So instead, what they would shout out is Ben Ba, a son is coming. 2 syllables, Ben Ba. Okay, so kind of like incoming, right? Anyway, not sure that you needed that, but maybe it will help you to remember Evan for stone. Ta say, you shall make li for me. So the im. Now if a mizbach avanim, an altar of stones, ta say, you shall make li for me. Lo lamed aleph. No, tivne, you shall not build et hen. Et is the definite direct object marker, and hen, that's hey, noon means them. Why hen instead of hem or instead of am? Because avanim, even though it doesn't sound like it, is feminine. Okay, so them. Lo tivne et hen, you shall not make them gazit. Gimel, Zion, Yod, Tav. This means hewn, 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 like cut with an instrument. Okay? It's kind of interesting, right? Hashem's requirement for his altars are that the stones are not to be hewn with an instrument. They're not to be gazit. Oh. And even in Hebrew, a natural stone, like when you have a stone, the way that you found it, it's called an Evan Shelema. Evan. So we get back to Shelem. Look at the Shelem offering, Shelamecha, right? A Shelem, a goodwill offering or a so-called peace offering. And Shelema is like perfect, right? Like we wish somebody who's sick a refuah, a healing, Shelema, a complete healing, right? So an Evan Shelema means an uncut stone, an unhewn stone. So Moses could have written it that way, but instead he says gazit, not lo gazit, not hewn. Ki, kaf yod, because or for charbecha. Again, another seglet. Wow, they're all over the place today. Chet resh beit. A cherev is a sword. So a melech is a king. Your king is malkecha. Your sword is charbecha, like we have here. So ki for charbecha, your sword, and it comes before the verb, right? So probably it means syntactically with your sword, by means of your sword. Heinaf ta, and nuf is the verb. Nun pei, it's a he fill form here. You can tell by the hey at the front. Nuf is like to move around. So heinaf ta, you lift it up. Aleha, upon it, or like moved upon it. Va and te you chalel chal le ha. So you halaled ha. So just remember this: the religion of shalom. We're not supposed to really eat their food, right? And that food is called halal, not halal. But imagine it's halal. Halal is profane. Don't eat profane food. So, you will chal le profane ha it. So the idea, even though it sounds kind of garbled in Hebrew, it's like if you lift up your sword upon it, then techaleleha, you will profane it. So maybe just repeat that last verse. V'mizbahach avanim ta'aselihi lo tivnei et hen gazit ki chabecha henafta aleha v'techaleleha. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. I will catch you tomorrow for what's tomorrow? First Kings, or Works in the Prophets. By the way, if you haven't signed up, please come over to my Patreon account. If you're watching, it's on the screen below. It's patreon.com/Hebrew Literacy, or maybe you're here already watching it. You don't have to sign up to pay. Even if you're just a free member, there's stuff free, and I'm going to be putting a lot more free stuff over there. So that would be very useful. And that way, if anything ever happens to, there's still a place we can meet and all that kind of stuff. And in fact, we're probably going to meet over there for Koheleth this week when we do the Koheleth stuff. So I'll send you the details how to do that. All right? Thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Be blessed. I will catch you later. Shalom. Shalom.